Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for your Bayern Munich versus Chelsea GBFC preview. This is the biggest game of the season so far. I've not been able to say that yet this season, and I'm delighted that Chelsea tonight, we will be able to listen to the spine-tingling, goosebump-inducing music that comes before a Champions League game. All of last season, right? We were doing live streams here for the Conference League. 6 things we learnt videos from 8-0 wins against teams from Armenia. No disrespect, but it isn't where Chelsea belong. I've got 2 tattoos on my arm for a reason with the 2 dates that Chelsea lifted the famous Big Ears trophy. This is huge. The Champions League is a competition like no other in world football. There isn't another continent, and people will argue, it's all right for you to say it, you're from Europe. But when you look at the viewing figures, when you look at the teams and the players that have played in this competition, it's the best of the best. And Chelsea, we've done it twice, and I want us to do it again. I want us to win number 3. And in this video today, we're obviously going to look ahead to Chelsea's opponents, Bayern Munich, who have got some talismanic players themselves. Harry Kane, one of the greatest strikers of this generation. Michael Olise, a player that was obviously wanted by Chelsea, but how badly did we want him? Not badly enough. He's gone to Bayern Munich, and lo and behold, like pretty much everybody believed, a world-class footballer. Luis Diaz, Lucho, as his old boss Arne Slot calls him. He's come in, great footballer. But we've also got to discuss Nicholas Jackson. Chelsea selling, loaning, selling, whatever way you want to look at it. Nicholas Jackson to Bayern Munich for a world record loan fee for the season, with an obligation that isn't really an obligation, because it's impossible, according to the directors of the football club Bayern Munich, for Nicholas Jackson to reach the criteria which would enable Bayern to have to pay us to sign him permanently. Great start to Jackson's life at Bayern Munich, isn't it? When your directors of football are already saying, oh, don't worry, he's never going to do that. Wow, what a vote of confidence that is. Nicholas Jackson right now had Chelsea Football Club, who didn't really fancy him anymore. Apparently his brand new club didn't that much either, to be fair. But he's playing with Harry Kane. Harry Kane saying good things about him. And I think Nicholas Jackson's the kind of player where if he plays tonight, we've got to keep an eye out for him. Because as much as he's a bit of a hothead, 2 red cards at the end of his Chelsea career, I'm going to say it's the end, because it probably is the end, right? Nicholas Jackson can hurt us tonight. But do I think that it gives Bayern Munich some crazy mad advantage? Not really. The fact they're already at home in the Champions League is an advantage. This isn't me saying excuses here. This is Bayern Munich away, boys, right? This is our first game back in the Champions League. Am I expecting us to go there tonight and win? Absolutely not. Do I think we should go there and give them a great game? Yes. This is a real test of Chelsea's level. The team that I have built, and we're going to go through it in a second here in your GBFC match preview. The team that we have built, I think, should be good enough to get a result at Bayern Munich. And I'm going to say it now. I've got a feeling today, right? You know, sometimes you wake up in the morning and you just get these little, I think we're going to play a cracking game tonight. I don't necessarily know if we're going to win, but I think Chelsea are going to show up. I think we're going to remind people that we have got European pedigree and we belong in this competition. So, before we go any further, just want to remind you guys, if you want to get anything from the Chelsea Megastore, GBFC10 is your discount code, QR code on the screen, and the link is in the description of every single video. And as well as that, the watch along tonight, we're back in the pub, the Belgian Beer Cafe in Al Barsha, Dubai. If you're here, come and watch it with us. We're live on Shootout. I'll leave a link to Shootout in the description. It's my new channel with Eunice. 6 things we learned will be out on GBFC straight after full time. So it just feels flipping good to be back in the Champions League. And look, we've got injury worries ourselves right now. Cole Palmer came back on against Brentford and scored. Caicedo looked tired, but he's world class and he just does show up. Joao Pedro didn't look fully fit. Esteval Willian wasn't playing, but he's back now in training. Delap's out. Colwill is out. But I still believe that this Chelsea team is going to be good enough. And there's one guy in particular that will come into the starting 11 tonight 100%, and he's going to change things for us. Reece James. This guy knows what it means to play and win this competition. And I think the weight that carries for him in a good way is going to be massive. This is the kind of game where Reece James can cement himself and show everybody why he's the best right back in world football on the biggest stage against the biggest teams in a stadium that's going to create this cauldron of noise tonight to try and intimidate Chelsea. Bayern Munich won't have forgotten. They never will forget how we went to their pitch, to their turf, to their city, to their country to take the crown in 2012. We did it the Chelsea way. We didn't play the best. We conceded a late goal. Thomas Muller drilling the header into the ground. Petr Cech got a hand to it. Didn't matter. Neuer could only get a hand to Drogba's header, and then he couldn't get a hand to Drogba's penalty. Chelsea won it. And I think tonight we're going to go there, and I believe that the energy of these kind of memories, of these moments from our football club, will be a game changer for us. I think Chelsea can go there mentally, reminding Bayern Munich that they might be the biggest club in Germany. They might be one of the biggest clubs in world football, but we're Chelsea. And I want us to go there tonight and put on a show. I want us to go there and compete. And without any further ado, we are now going to build my Chelsea starting 11. Robert Sanchez in goal. This guy, in recent times, has done a hell of a lot to win my faith and win my trust. Even when Robert Sanchez was asked about what is the best Champions League goal ever, he said Kai Havertz's winner from Mason Mount's pass. I mean, look, we might not say that is the greatest memory Champions League moment. I think Drogba, the penalty and the header for me, will outweigh that final in 2021, purely because of the history and the legacy that team carries forward, as opposed to the legacy and history that some of the members of the 2021 team have now carried on into their careers. But that's a discussion for another day. Rob Sanchez is our Chelsea keeper. We move into this back four. Reece James, Tosin, Chalobah, and Marc Cucurella. As I've said already, I think Reece James is absolutely massive tonight for Chelsea. And I do think there could be a moment here where we have to consider both Malo Gusto and Reece James didn't start the game against Brentford, potentially because we're going to see Reece start in the midfield tonight. I wouldn't be too opposed to it, you know. Having watched Chelsea beat PSG 3-0 the way that we did against one of the greatest teams in the world, in Europe, I'm backing Maresca here. If he wants to go and put Reece James in the midfield tonight, so be it. If it allows Enzo Fernandez to get a bit further forward. But I think Enzo did pretty well against Brentford, to be fair. I think he looks good when he's kind of in that deep line playmaking role a little bit more. Caicedo, we know that this guy is just an absolute beast. But when we bring it back to this, Marc Cucurella also, in my opinion right now, there is not a better left back in world football. Chalobah and Tosin, Trev I think's been fantastic. Tosin didn't have a dreadful game, but there were specific moments where Vincent Kompany said he's watched 40 of Chelsea's last recent games or whatever. So if Kompany's watched that, he will know exactly how to get at Tosin. When Tosin is running with his back to goal, we've got something to be concerned about. I won't lie. So I think tonight they might try and capitalise on that. And my big question for Bayern Munich starting 11 is, will they start Nicholas Jackson? I don't think they can, because I don't see how he fits into the team with Diaz on the left, Olise on the right. You've got Harry Kane through the middle, obviously. But I just think Nicholas Jackson could be the kind of player that could hurt Chelsea's back line. So just bear that in mind. But let's move forward now into the midfield. Caicedo, honestly, I fall in love with this guy every week. Every time I see Caicedo play, I love him even more. He's absolutely superb. Enzo Fernandez, of all of the matches we've seen from Enzo this season, we had more energy against Brentford. He had that little time off, and at the start of the season, Enzo Fernandez didn't look fit. He didn't look like he was ready for that season to begin, which is understandable because we didn't have a pre-season. But he turned it on a bit more against Brentford. And look, I know a lot of people are going into this game based off of the fact that we threw it away against Brentford. There's no denying we did. Whether it was offside or not is irrelevant to the fact that Chelsea had 4 players get beaten when they're marking Christopher Aguerd, and then we concede a really simple goal. But I would say that Chelsea starts the season has been good, considering we haven't necessarily had that pre-season. So when I put this front four out, I don't think I'm going to get this correct, but that is what I would love it to be. First of all, Esteval Willian in the Champions League. This is the stage for this kid, right? Chelsea have got a Ballon d'Or clause in the contract of Esteval Willian with Palmeiras for a reason. Because you win Ballon d'Ors by playing in this competition, by playing against the big boys, beating the big boys. Cole Palmer, he's fit. He's got to play in the number 10. Pedro Neto, I mean, look, Gittins has played Bayern Munich. He knows how to play Bayern Munich. Not as much of like an insider knowledge as maybe a Jackson has on Chelsea, but Gittins would know. But I don't think he's ready to start this game. I also am not sure about Garnacho. I think we're going to need the work of Pedro Neto. Bayern Munich are a team that do a lot of running. I've just seen the mic keep dipping out. I hope everything's okay. But I think Neto's got to be out there for also the work rate as well as the ability to cross left foot, right foot to try and hurt that Bayern defence. And of course, we have got João Pedro leading the line for Chelsea. It can't be anybody else right now. If Mark Guiu doesn't make the squad to play Brentford, he doesn't randomly start matches against Bayern Munich. So I think if there is something wrong with João Pedro, which I really hope he's going to be okay. I hope he's going to have a bit more energy than he had the other night because it looked like he was struggling. I really hope he's fit because I genuinely believe that we can go to Bayern Munich and get a result tonight. I know maybe it's blind optimism. I know right now I've been reading the comments. I've been looking across social media. It's so easy when Chelsea do what we did the other night, which was throw away. Regardless of referees and whatever, I have to keep referring to that because it shouldn't have stood and we should be talking about a win. The whole narrative of Chelsea is based on the feeling of how we feel, right? And individual moments can sometimes cloud the bigger picture, I think. And I've been definitely culpable of this in the past as well, this year, 2025. So I'm aware of this, right? But I think the moment that we had in America in the summer winning the Club World Cup, I don't think it's possible to quantify how big that will be. And these players know what it tastes like, what it feels like now to win trophies. And this is the biggest one that you can win. Apart from the World Cup, this is as big as it gets. So tonight, what do I think this Chelsea 11 can go to the Allianz Arena and do in Munich? I'm going to say we're going to get a 2-2 draw. Which I'm not going to lie, I'd be more than happy with that right now. I don't think we're going to lose. I think we're going to put up a massive show tonight and show Europe that the Club World Cup was just the start. I'm backing this tonight. I think we're going to do well. Look, if we don't, Bayern Munich have scored 11, conceded none against Leipzig and Hamburg in their opening 2 games of the season. It's Bayern Munich. They're a fantastic team. Let's not beat around the bush, but I back us tonight. I really, really do. If you guys want to get anything from the Megastore, GBFC10 is your discount code. QR code on the screen, link in the description, and so is the link to Shootout, which is where the watch-along is going to be from the pub tonight. I'm sure as the day goes on, I'm going to get more and more nervous, but I'm going to say 2-2 and Cole Palmer scoring both. That's what's going to happen tonight against Manuel Neuer, just like against Donnarumma in the summer. Come on, you Blues. See you in the watch-along.